Hey, so you want to get waitlisted? Let's talk about it. Now, being waitlisted is a fantastic space to be in if you run an expertise driven business, right? Now, the reason that's such a fantastic place to be in, because if you've got more than enough work of the kind you want, you're waitlisted. And realistically, when you do that, you can choose the kind of people you work with. You ever noticed how when you're in demand, it's much easier to sell stuff and it's much easier to attract premium clients or people in your world? The reason is that effectively when you're waitlisted, you're socially proofed, aren't you? Right? You are the hot thing in demand that everyone wants. So the way that we want to do this in particular, though, is that we want to become waitlisted with premium advisory work. And premium advisory work, I pretty much just define as the kind of work you got into your business to actually do. So it's not the admin. It's not the low level following up. It's not the button clicking. It's not the compliance stuff. It's the stuff that's actually transformational to the people you work with. And once you've done it, you can really get a sense of it was like that and now it's like this. I've seen change. It's not just occupying a space, it's bigger, it's broader. It's a really fantastic space to be in because it's highly energizing. You know your work's impactful and it really lets you express your inner gift, your inner value in a way that feels super aligned and you're keen to do more of it. Now, sort of three key things we need to do around this, right? We need to get your business and you and your expertise correctly positioned. And what I mean by correctly positioned is living in the minds of the right people. No one is going to buy stuff from you that they don't associate you with. Saying that is, that another way of saying that is that people don't buy products they don't know exist, and they don't go to the hardware store to get milk. Hardware stores aren't positioned to sell milk. That'd be a weird positional shift. Point being, though, when you're positioned, and what I'm talking about here is effectively you want to be able to live rent free in the right minds, and you want the associations with the kind of work that you want to be known for. That's how we know we've got to that stage. Once we're known for the kind of work and problems we need to do, the next thing we need to do then is get subscribed. And I've deliberately used the word subscribed because that refers to ongoing, doesn't it? A subscription is ongoing. It's not going to be ongoing just because it's better for you and your business. It's going to be done in a way that's better for the client's business, and it's going to be easier to deliver, and it's going to be more impactful. And typically we do that through a productized service offer where it's really outcome focused and deliberate. There's this great idea that people quit relationships, engagements, businesses, even, partner-based relationships when they run out of future with it. So we need to make sure we're subscribed or providing the subscription around things that are genuinely valuable ongoing, or we'll happily part ways. So we take people from here to here and then off you go. A little more on that later. Beyond that, we really need to then, once we've got them subscribed, so we've been thought of for the problems we want, we've got people subscribed, well, you're not a shyster, are you? I hope. So we've got to be able to deliver, right? And to deliver, we're going to deliver programs that make you highly credible. Quality, transformation, the good stuff, the right stuff to the right people. Yeah. Let's get into it. So we're going to get positioned first of all. We're going to come around here and we're going to get subscribed. Once we're subscribed, we're going to deliver a killer program that delivers great results. So we're credible. And guess what happens when you're credible? Well, it becomes much easier to be positioned as a kind of person who creates the kind of results you want. Fun stuff. All sounds great, I'm sure. Here's the first problem most people face. So to be positioned, the way I would talk about this is our marketing, right? So the problem most people have in this space is they want to get online, they want to market, they want to get out there, they want to have ads, they want to communicate their value, right? Two major problems we come across though. If you just copy everything online, if you just go with what the common advice is, you're going to get common results. And the way I describe that is you're going to come across as not even vanilla essence. It's going to be like imitation vanilla, So when you're going to bake, it's like imitation vanilla. Not only is it vanilla, but it's vanilla imitation. That doesn't convert. That's fine for a product business. That's fine for a commodity-based business. That's fine for someone who wants to tick along and do compliance work or maintenance work where there's need and necessity. But we're really talking about want-based activities here and transformation and growth. The way we need to do that then is really have a marketing strategy and a communication strategy more broadly that points to the right stuff, but in a way that doesn't just feel like rank self-promotion, right? This is the other major problem that experts come up across in this space, self-promo, is getting online and saying how good you are. If it's got some substance, it feels pretty horrible to conscientious people. We all know braggarts who do that, and we quietly doubt their ability to deliver. So why would we want to do that? Well, we don't. Realistically, what we need to be building a vehicle around our marketing and around our communication that actually builds authentic attraction. Now, when we build authentic attraction, what I mean by that is actually creating content and conversations and communicating in a way that feels very deep and natural to us. It's not performing. It's not self-promoting. It's not copying others. It's genuinely expressing ourselves in the way that we're best attuned to, and in a way that's really true and authentic to us. And it doesn't feel like a performance, and it doesn't feel laborious, right? 3 jobs we've got to do within that. So within the program, what we're going to do with that is, first and foremost, well, we need to know who we're trying to attract, who we're trying to position in the minds of. If we want to live rent-free, well, anyone can live rent-free in a tent out in the bush. We want to live in the penthouse though, don't we? 360 views overlooking the ocean and the mountains and the city out the back. So it's really important that we actually know who we're positioning to. And in that sense, this is the ideal client piece. We've got to know who we're talking to, our targets. And when we do that, we're going to, let's get a lovely color over here. We're going to laser lock in who we're talking to, so that every single piece of communication is crafted and we know who we're talking to. Knowing who to talk to, the next thing becomes we've got to actually have a way to do that in which that we're not just talking at them. We've all experienced that and it's horrible. 90% of marketing is what I'd call FU by this marketing, where it's like someone stealing for your attention. They try to do something shocking, jarring, attention hacking, if you will. So it's like, F you, I know you're concentrating on something, but buy this from me. F you, buy this. That's the sales emails we get. That's commodity behavior. So really then we need a way to garner attention, but in a way that creates deep value. And the way that we do that, instead of yelling at people, so this is ease of comms, is we're going to join the conversation in their head. Now, what I mean by that is everyone at any given time has things that they are thinking about, don't they? And there's a conversation going on in our heads all the time, and they're problem focused. And we're going to actually build out a methodology that helps us jump into the conversation in their head and join it. Now, that's the best place to be, because that feels like whispering in their ear, instead of going down to the town square and just shouting louder and louder. So we're going to join the conversation in their head. I'm going to teach you to do that within the program. Then the last thing we need to do is we need to find out a way to get it across to them. This is a space around where and when the delivery modality, if you will, or delivery vehicle. You don't want this stuff to feel laborious. You've got a business to run. You've got expertise to give. We've got to do it in a way that actually reaches people where they are with a conversation in their head. We've got to do it in a way that feels natural to us, really, right? And the way we're going to do this is we're going to work out your voice, your way, your place, right? So the way that you say things, that's your voice and your way. And then we're going to work out where you're best suited to actually deliver it. So it's a combination of where the people are and where you like being. So I'm not going to tell you you have to get on TikTok and dance. I'm not going to say you have to have a long form podcast, as it seems typical that every white male over 35 feels compelled to do these days. Look out for the new podcast coming out. I'm 38 now. But we're going to find your voice and your place. And that's super important because, again, we've got to remove the friction. So with a combination of laser lock conversations, knowing who we're talking to, the ability to join their conversation and really know the things that matter to them very easily and where we overlap, and then having our voice and our place nailed, it becomes super easy to be able to, well, effectively whisper in the ear of the right people at the right time we want to. And then we'll be positioned, or you will be positioned for the kind of work you want to do and the kind of problems you want to solve. You'll be associated at the right level. Super important. Beyond that we need to move to the phase of getting you subscribed. Now, a huge problem a lot of people have with this is twofold. It's never-ending proposals because they're talking about interesting, fun, complex work potentially. And so it's custom proposals on one side, which are quite laborious and they're not really fun for anyone to send or receive because they involve a whole heap of cognitive load. And then it's the old classic. You send the proposal or you have the sales conversation, and without the right frameworks, it can feel very aimless and awkward. It's the old classic that I hope I never consider sending again, or any of my clients do, which is, so how you going with a quote? Crickets. And this is a real reason that a lot of experts don't pursue this kind of growth, is that they feel They feel sales leaves them aimless and awkward. And that's not a real fun feeling, is it? So on the flip side of that, what we really want is to be able to create effortless enrollment that just feels like a conversation, a really seamless sales process. That's how we know we've got it made. Yeah. Now, to have a seamless sales process, couple of things we need to do within that. So first and foremost, we need to have super clean offers. Got to be clear on what we're actually selling. And we're going to learn and build out a structure to do that really easily. Effectively, when you get this offer piece right, we're only going to try and feed hungry people, as I like to say, but we're going to be able to do it in a way where basically it's as easy as the client's self-selecting a can of beans off a shelf. You know what's inside of a can of beans. If you're looking for beans, you go to the bean section and you grab a can of beans. Quite often that doesn't happen with expertise, right? So we need to create clean offers and packaging. Now, when you do that, we're going to completely strip out probably half the sales process. We know we get this right when we're talking about when can I start, not how much or what's included. So this is really a clarity piece. And again, this comes back to knowing who we're talking to, what they're after, their problems, the delivery. So much as heavy lifting is done prior to ever getting to us. Realistically, the best thing about having the offers right too is that we really have something to point our marketing and positioning at. And when these are aligned, they all work together. I'm quite often known to say that the best way to sell a service is to package it as this is the best way to get this kind of result for someone like you, right? Package being the operative word there. When we get the offers right, the marketing is the sales, is the delivery. It all comes together in a very nice, seamless, clean way. So we've got the offers for the most part. If we're talking about selling premium advisory products and getting waitlisted, we're going to have some conversations. So this is our sales convo piece. Again, to stick with the clean thing, no one likes getting sucked into a free discovery call or a free session where it ends up feeling like a weird pitch. The people who do like getting sucked into those typically tend to be the tire kickers and the lower value clients who are in a desperate space. So it's really important that if we're attracting premium clients to talk about premium problems, we need to have a premium sales process and we need frameworks to do that. A really simple way to think about that is we just need, the right ladders and progress. And when things get on track and stay on track, it feels like it was custom and it was made for me. And it's very specific, right? Specific feels premium. So we're going to have a very specific framework for basically scaffolding our sales conversations and a natural progressing conversational way to do it. It doesn't feel icky and it's not pushing. When you get it right, it feels like you're offering up gold nuggets to people. Yeah, free, because it's the easiest sale you'd ever make is giving away gold for free. And if they don't buy, we're not put out then because you get to keep the gold nuggets. That's how we want you feeling about the business. Finally, the piece we need to do there, again, on structuring this correctly, and this all links together, is having a way to create the need. There's no bigger waste in business than trying to sell a solution to a problem that someone doesn't believe they have, or a problem they're not motivated to solve is another way of saying that. So it's super important that they understand why this is a problem worth solving. And a large part of that is getting them to self-identify, because when they self-identify that this is a problem or the solution you have is attached to this problem and the solution matches beautifully, when they do that, this is where we're able to really self-select quite easily because it's their idea, not yours. You're not pushing on them saying, hey, buy this. They're hungry and you've got the packet of protein bars ready to go, right? So the way that we're going to do this is we're going to have... we're going to create the need more accurately. We're going to identify the need. We're going to help them self-identify the need. We're going to do this one. So this is their opt-in need. This one, we're going to sell the audit. And within that, we are going to help them with tools that help them self-identify. And we're going to get paid to actually work out if we can help them or not. Now, this is a super cool process because it's basically what I call a double opt-in. And within a double opt-in, it completely changes the frame. So this is a way to sell a lower ticket, smaller price item and deliver a huge amount of value. The way I think about this is we're getting paid to sniff them out and to provide value and show our expertise and get started on the journey. So we're removing friction there, which is great from their perspective, but we're doing it in a way that delivers massive value and we actually get to see what they're like to work with. Now, again, that idea of giving away gold bars, you don't want to give them away to just anyone. If you want to get waitlisted with premium advisory with premium clients, which I should have written there as well, you don't want just anyone, do you? You want the right kind of people and the right kind of people want discerning experts. I don't want anyone who's just yelling out there cheaply and broadly at everyone, do they? So this is a really important part of it is selling the audit, creating that clarity through that. When we do that, sales feels like a conversation. We get people started on the right track and they're going to stay on the right track. When they do that, they're going to get you well, your business becomes subscribed and away you go from there. Once we're subscribed, we have to then deliver, as we talked about. Now, one of the problems here is that without the right advice architecture, which is the delivery vehicle for you to give your advice, when we stay in commodity land and the commodity business model, we're just going to have the same stuff that everyone else does. And the problem with that is it's generally hourly, sessional, custom proposal. The exchange it's based on and the value creation is based on time for money, not outcomes, right? But we're in the business of creating outcomes because that's what actually changes people. The reason most experts don't do this is they get stuck in sessions and sprawls. So it's all good and well and they can deliver great results, but without actually positioning their expertise the correct way and their delivery model the correct way, they'll get stuck in sessions and sprawls. And rightly so, that doesn't feel attractive to them because, you want to do great work and you want to put it out there. But if you have a negative association with how long it takes to deliver that great work, doing it hourly, or it feels like there's a lot of friction there, you're not going to be impactful. Additionally, it's not really able to be packaged beyond you and shared and scaled and grown with the team. So what we really need to do there is design purposeful programs that create the right kind of results we're talking about here and actually deliver for clients in a way where delivery is light for us and impact is heavy for them. We're not going to make them work too hard for it. Now, the good news about this is the inclusions piece, you're already doing this in part. It's about repositioning the work we do. The way I would talk about this is, this is what goes in our packages. Inclusions is we need to be able to A, uncover and B, shing, 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 polish our diamonds. You've already got them. You just have to actually point to them and include them in a way where they're cleanly offered and they are the match to the conversation going on in their head. Everyone's got a conversation going on in their head and we tend to reduce problems down to, if I can just solve this problem, everything will be fine in 2 weeks. We need to polish the diamonds in a way that actually shines to them. The great work you're already doing, this all needs to marry up. All this totally related. So the good news is you're already doing that. It's just about actually putting the right inclusions in and helping people see the right value in the right work and how it all comes together, just like this model does effectively. Beyond that too, we want to make it super easy for them to create momentum. So one of the harder things about transformation is having the right framework for it in a way that gets them on board and going a long way, right? So this one's about momentum. And what we're going to do is let's see if we can do this one. We're going to buy the ticket for them. And we're going to do that with quick wins to buy the ticket to go on the long journey. Now, what I mean by that is we're going to get them started on a great growth trajectory early on, which sees them shooting along and creating huge momentum by giving them the things that they care about. A great way to think about this is imagine you invented pain relief pills, and these pain relief pills, they were super special because they're actually able to target a specific part of the body. So you've got one that relieves neck pain, you've got one that relieves back pain, you've got one that relieves elbow pain, you've got one that relieves ankle pain. If you had a client coming in, that'd be pretty easy to sell, right? If you had a client coming in, they're like, oh my God, my neck is smashing me and I've got a bit of a sore ankle. Well, which pill do you give them first? You've made both the pills. You don't mind which one you give them first. You'd obviously give them the neck pill because the neck's smashing them. So what I mean by that is we're going to gear our programs in a way that delivers that instant relief, that creates momentum for them, that takes away the pain that blinds their vision. It's like a ladder out of the hole so that they can start operating on level ground, right? Everyone wants to go to the top of the penthouse and, you're selling the big dream, the transformation, the discovery. No one cares about getting to the penthouse. They go, yeah, that sounds good, but I'm in a hole at the moment and it looks like it's about cool. Here's a ladder. Let's get up on the ground floor and let's start building. That's what we do when we create quick wins. We buy a ticket to go on that longer journey. Finally, we have to think about our involvement and our delivery vehicle because we don't want to just get overburdened again into sessions and sprawls. And to do that, we're going to do what I call the man in the hat with the long beard, Gandalf mode. Now, within transformation, bear with me on this one, people transform themselves. Great clients have ownership in the outcomes as much and more than you do. So we're not going to build crutches for people. We want to be transformative. The reason I call this Gandalf mode, and that it's super important, is that if you think about Lord of the Rings, Gandalf's a very powerful being, right? He could probably magic away a lot of the problems, but he doesn't. It's not a very good film if he just goes, bing, eagles, come here, fly the ring into the mountain. or if he just magics it away. It's not a film, it's not a journey. That's why we need to think about this. So that's creating the right viewpoints, the right angles with our heroes, our clients, the people we put at the center of it, because it's their journey, it's not our journey. Understanding this and building your framework around this in a way that actually delivers for them deeply and meaningfully completely changes the dynamic. And again, it's lighter touch for us as the experts, and it's more impactful for them. So it's a better way to do business. Now, when you do that, you're going to deliver great outcome-based results for people that they want to talk about. When they want to talk about that, it's pretty easy to become credible. When you've got a body of evidence around the kind of problems you solve and the great transformations you make, it's pretty easy to be positioned higher. And again, there's a bigger need for subscription because you're in higher demand. Again, we evolve further, and this is a beautiful upward cycle, getting bigger and bigger each time, or as big as you want to do it. Now, beyond that, if you want to, you grow a team. But now you're doing it in a way where you've got packaged outcomes, clean offers, specific frameworks that are actually transferable to your team. It doesn't just rely on you. And this completely solves the problem of the owner dependency bottleneck, right? Because what we're doing is we're grabbing your IP, we're grabbing the results you're able to make, and we're bottling them, canning them, if you will, to be delivered by others. And we're focusing on outcomes and transformation, not hours occupied at desk. So we're playing a completely different game now, which opens up a whole world of possibilities. It's more impactful for clients. It's more enjoyable for you to deliver, and it's more profitable. This is the absolute way to do business. And if you'd love to talk about that, I would absolutely love to talk about it with you. Now, just like the example I was talking about before with the neck and the ankle, one of the most impactful things you can do here is actually understanding where clients want to opt in. And when you design a program this way, the cool thing about it is we can actually start at all these different points. So because it's cyclical and it gets larger each time, we can use one of these programs to identify the most pressing need, create these quick wins and go on the long journey by laying this out in front of them, just like I have here, and giving the client the ability to sort of opt in on what the start point is. So what's their biggest pain? The way that we can then do that is to actually go through and say, how do you feel using this as a diagnostic? How do you feel your offers are? Cool. Oh, they're a 7 out of 10. Oh, but you don't have a good sales framework conversation. So maybe that's the point we want to start. Right, you're nailing sales, but you feel like on the delivery part, we aren't nailing that. Great, let's start here. Fantastic and cyclical way to do business. And again, as I said, that piece about people running out of futures, when you use a delivery model like this, people don't run out of futures because it's cyclical and it's upward. So as long as they're growing and they're keen to grow, there's something further to be grown. Not only that, but it's one of the most enjoyable ways you can deliver your expertise that feels light, that feels easy, and it feels like it's actually impactful, right? We all got into business for a reason. We've all got those things we want to get done. I'm tipping yours is something to do with like actually expressing your true value the way that you want to, not just like everyone else in your industry. It's actually doing transformational work with people you care about and being able to see the difference in their lives. And that's what this model is built around. That's what gets you waitlisted, because who wouldn't want to be queuing up for that when, Ed Sheeran comes to town. He announces 6 months in advance that he's going to be here for 3 nights only. And every single one of those tickets sells out at Marvel Stadium. He's potentially sold, what's that? Maybe 200,000 tickets across 3 nights. That's what high value waitlisting feels like. I don't know if you want to have 200,000 fans coming along, but I think having that level of devotion and control and agency over the way that you express your expertise is a deeply attractive thing to do. If you'd love to have a play with that, I would too. Reach out, drop me a line.